everybody, and welcome to the Crown Jewel Smack Attack edition, or should I say the Smack Attack Crown Jewel edition. I am your host, Jimmy T. He is my co-host, R to the B to the V, and we are live on Hamin Media Group's YouTube channel, and of course on channelattitude.com after the fact. Rick, welcome back to your show. And how do I put this? I was pleasantly surprised by the Perth Crown Jewel. I mean, could it possibly be the best Crown Jewel of all Crown Jewels?
Well, Jimmy, we are going to get to that and so much more when it comes to that squared circle conversation. But first and foremost, out there in the chat, can we get an oi, oi, oi for the birthday boy himself?
Oh, shit. Here we go.
Your day, brother, Mr. Jimmy T, on National Sausage Pizza Day.
Thank you, man.
The tsunami salami are the king.
I like that.
Sausage there, buddy. This is your day, man. Happy birthday. How did you celebrate?
Man, it was pretty quiet, to be honest. I went to my parents' house, kicked back there for a little bit, and then just spent it at home, man. I mean, to be honest, I'm not going to really celebrate 43, bro. You know what I mean? I'm getting freaking way too old at this point. I'm hating birthdays more so than looking forward to them, if you know what I mean. It just means another year older.
First and foremost out there, if any of you are in the chat fall under this category, you need to correct yourself. Is there anyone more on two annoyances, really? First, someone that says that they have a birthday month and they want us to celebrate the entire month, or people who throw their own birthday parties. Absolutely the bottom dwellers of society. Get the hell out of here with that. But, brother, when it comes to birthdays, yeah, they're great when you're young. Get all that kind of cool stuff there, all that attention, having those parties. 21, yeah, that's where you do it right there, right? Go out there and just and throw down, get that party on. Maybe 30. Okay, I'll give you the landmark there. Beyond that, 50 maybe? Then retire. Maybe you can hope to celebrate retirement and then your death. So after 21, pretty much all you need to celebrate is retirement and dying. That's it.
I'm laughing because I remember listening to this exact conversation with you and Ben.
We talked about a month ago about
and I straight away thought, as you said those exact words, I thought about myself, thinking, "Damn, that's so true." You know what I mean? Like, you said after 50, it's like retirement then death. You know what I mean? But it's true. So, but other than that, thank you for wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you to everyone in the chat too that wished me a happy birthday, because it's all over the place on Twitter. Everyone's wishing me a happy birthday, and on Facebook. And I appreciate it, man.
As when you were young, what were some of maybe that come to mind, like your favorite birthday gifts? Because I always know, like, man, I always loved. I have a summer birthday, July 3rd. I remember getting some cool video games back in the day. I remember one birthday, Ken Griffey Jr. baseball, and I think that same year, I got WWE Raw for Super Nintendo at the same time. So that was a good one that I remember.
Yeah, I would have to say the video games too, man. As a matter of fact, probably my best ever present in some ways would involve a wrestling game, and that's probably Rage in the Cage on Sega CD, dude. Actually, the WWE Rage in the Cage, it was only on Sega CD, and at the time, it was pretty it was a big deal.
Was Rage in the Cage on the NES?
It was on Master System, actually, Sega Master System as well, and maybe on Game Gear. But the one on the Sega CD was the first one that had full motion video and actual CD quality sound with the entrances, and it had Howard Finkel announcing the wrestlers.
That was way better than the Nintendo. The Nintendo, what was just for the old school, the regular NES, it sucked. Because it had this weird angle, and you had to look through the cage. So it was
yeah, well, look, it was still the same graphics though as, say, like WWE Raw on Super Nintendo or on the Genesis, but it was just a little bit better, you know what I mean? So that was probably my favorite thing from back in the day. There's probably a few others, obviously, but that really stands out. Anything wrestling back then, Because man, I used to eat it up back in those days, bro. Like I used to tape every show, like a maniac, every single show from WWF to WCW, like everything, dude.
Well,
I got rid of all that collection.
That's kind of a great transition. And what I kind of want to talk to you about is we don't have a whole lot of headlines, but I wanted to talk about the energy and the vibe and how psyched people get when WWE does come to Australia. I was thinking about that this morning, and here in the States, sometimes we'll take for granted because the company is based here. We've had it for so many years, regularly touring. Before WWE went down under to your neck of the woods, they were right here at Cincinnati for SmackDown last week. Just in Cincinnati, a B market for them, especially when they're running house shows. We would get 3 or 4 events here in our city each year. If you're Chicago, New York, you're getting more than that. So in the United States, we've taken that for granted over the years. How big of a deal is it for those fans on the other side of the world, the diehards as yourself, to actually have really not just a house show, not just a television, but a major PLE come to town?
Oh, it's a big deal, but what makes this sort of weird, Perth is not a big market city, in Australia. That's what's funny. And, they're the ones that have been paying for these events. I was
going to say, there might not be a big market, but they're putting out that big bucks, as we know what some of these metropolises are paying to get WWE really in town.
See, the big market cities is Sydney and Melbourne. You know what I mean? Really. I wouldn't call anywhere else a big market city. Maybe Brisbane, but not really compared to Melbourne and Sydney. It's on.
Well, so is Perth more of an entertainment destination, though? Yeah, I mean, was what the big draw, like here, like Vegas isn't one of our biggest cities, but obviously it is a great travel destination. You got the casinos. It's where you go for big events.
Well, I'll put it this way: Melbourne is known for the casinos. For example, my neck of the woods, and it's got the biggest casino in the Southern Hemisphere is right here in Melbourne. But in Perth, it's becoming like that too. Like I know a lot of people from here have moved over there and love it, dude. And yeah, they've got casinos there too. It's known now. It's starting to get known now as a party sort of city. The beaches are beautiful.
Zane is saying over there in the chat, Perth is one of those up and coming. So they're trying to grab, they're ponying up for these big attractions so that they can get on that same level as a Melbourne or Sydney.
Put it this way, back in the day, WB would always come to Melbourne and Sydney only, really, right? They wouldn't even bother with Perth. They would go to Perth, but it wasn't like every year. But Melbourne, Sydney was always a guarantee every year. Like
when you were a kid, at least twice. When they would come down the tour, how long would they stay down there? Would they do like a 2-week tour? Hit some house shows like that, or was it just boom? You got just like mainly in that weekend or something.
Well, look, we've had WCW television, for example, back in 2000. I was talking about that with Brandon, and I've mentioned this a million times. How I went to Nitro and Thunder, and that was back in 2000. Bad times. But WWE mainly, they did do one pay-per-view in 2002 here, the Global Warning event. But also, but mainly before that, it was all house shows, man. They would always do house shows. And then, out of nowhere, they might do a major event here and there. It's only really the last 10 years where it's mainly no more house shows. It's actually more televised events.
Well, they're not really doing house shows hardly anywhere anymore, especially TKO. They changed that business model, kind of elevate you stamp out that low dollar event, and then that puts a premium on what you are offering for television in the PLEs, when it helps drive those ticket prices up to such astronomical numbers as we've seen. So speaking of that there, all right, so we do have WWE. We had a weekend takeover. You guys are getting 3 big events down there for the Crown Jewel.
We are getting a house show too in Melbourne, by the way.
They are had one?
They are, yeah. They did it out of nowhere. They didn't really advertise it. It just, out of nowhere, they announced one. I guess because the thing is, before we continue on, they fly, to get to Australia, you're going from LAX, and it's a one-way flight to either Melbourne or Sydney. They're coming through Melbourne, so they come through Melbourne, and then from Melbourne fly to Perth, another 4 hours, right? So on the way back, they probably figured, you know what, we haven't given Melbourne a friggin' bone in a while, when usually we always get the shows.
What night is that?
Wednesday night. I'm going to that.
Oh, okay. So you are going to be there. So you all right.
I'm
So
going to
you're
go to
gonna
that
check
one,
that out.
100%.
I'm going to give you a little homework list of some things to check out for me.
Yeah,
So, all right.
I'll
So
check it out,
for
but
that,
it's a house show, though,
for the house show though, that's I wanted to talk about ticket prices there. So, how much for a house show? What, if you don't mind divulging, what you paid?
Oh, no, look, all right. Well, look, on average, back in the day, for example, like before TKO took over, for a nosebleed seat, say, right, anywhere between $20 and $40 max. But really, it was about $20, right, for a nosebleed. And I mean a nosebleed. But, like, and to get good seats, like, and I'm talking about real decent on the floor, maybe 10 rows from the front, $150, right? And to get a front row, like a full front row ticket, no more than $400-$500 tops.
Dude, that's like nosebleed now for someone. I could not even imagine paying that for to go watch a wrestling show.
Well, get this: the house show, the freaking house show, is $200 for nosebleeds, bro.
For the one you're going to.
For the one I'm going, can you believe that bullshit?
And they're selling them. They're selling them like crazy. So that's going to be my other thing here for the big shows coming up here. You had the SmackDown, you had Crown Jewel. You're going to get Raw. By the way, 8 a.m. Raw tomorrow morning here for the East Coast
That's
listeners.
Crazy, bro.
You get Rise of Sky. So how do you know? Did you happen to follow the average ticket prices, some of the highs, the lows, and how fast did they sell out that 13,000+ there in Perth?
You know, I was following it because I was contemplating going. Should I go? Should I go? Should I go? It was a sellout. The thing about Australians, man, they tend to like doing things. I guess you can laugh because I'm kind of like that, but doing things sort of last second instead of rushing to like get something. So knowing the way this was, there was sort of single tickets left towards the end, but I think they would have got snapped up right, like literally walk-ins, right on the night of the event because it was a sellout legit. So same with SmackDown, same with Raw. But you can get limited tickets for Raw, for example, this coming Monday.
Gotcha. All right, as we know, you mentioned with the international expansion, they put over at the pay-per-view, Michael Cole makes mention that this is the 17 country, and obviously they've been touring regularly, hitting Australia each and every year, but 17 different countries that they have put on major events in the last couple of years here.
That's
Jimmy,
crazy.
How proud, or maybe not so proud, are you of your countrymen and how they represented themselves as compared to what we see on the European tours, even here in North America, South America, around the globe? How do you feel you guys stacked up?
You want me to be honest? All right, look, I'll be honest, man. I was embarrassed, bro.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, I'm going to say it. You know what? I didn't think Australia was that marked tardy, but goddamn it, Perth, you proved your marked tardiness, especially, oh, man, I cringed. I told you what happened at the national anthem, right? For example.
All right, so for the chat, because I wanted to talk about this here. So first and foremost, though, all right, so it airs 8 a.m. Eastern here in the States. So that's 10 p.m. your time, right?
11 p.m. it aired.
11, or it was 11. All right, so it was 11 for Perth. Okay. So you're already getting
Melbourne, 8 p.m. Eastern, Western time for Perth.
Okay. So, all right, 8. Okay, so I got you on that one. So, all right, so
it's 11 p.m. on the East Coast
side of the country.
On my end.
I thought they were running later than that. I mean, you Australians are known for throwing down some of your malt liquor.
They must have been drunk, bro.
What's the top beer there? Because here in the States, I always remember the Foster's, Australian for beer.
No, we don't drink that shit, bro.
Is that even a thing down there?
Bro. No shit, man. You will never, ever see an Aussie drinking Foster's. Maybe back in the day, I would see it a lot more.
Australian for beer.
I'm talking about the 80s and early 90s, maybe, but ever since
I don't think I've even seen a Foster's ad in the last 30 years. That's what I remember, like 80s and 90s stuff. But anyway, I was thinking that you guys were starting late there, and it was plenty enough time for your fans to get tuned up because they
must have been, dude.
They seemed rowdy, as you were telling me. I didn't catch this part, so I was kind of explaining to you how we do this. When the WWE is going to travel, same as when the NFL travels. They are American-based companies.
Right.
So when we go somewhere, we play our national anthem because it's obviously airing in our part of the world, and then we will play the host country's national anthem. And
Right.
you were telling me that when they played the American national anthem, that you SOB dingoes had the audacity to boo Old Glory.
I mean, booed, bro. it was pretty bad, dude. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've never seen it. I've never seen that before. But it was very unclassy. And look, they're not doing it because they hate Americans. It has nothing to do with that. They took it as a bit of an offense because it's in Australia. Why?
Now, but they played the Australian national anthem.
Yeah, but after the American one, they didn't know that the Australian one was even going to get played, for starters.
So,
if they did it the other way around,
they're not just rude. They're ignorant. They don't understand how things work.
Well, let's be real. Let's be real here, Rick, because why were they even doing national anthems for Crown Jewel?
And that's part of these selling packages when they're going in and asking these cities for these astronomical numbers, these big paydays, these tax breaks and all that. Because with the anthem and all that is, we were talking before we hit the play button here. You were talking about, that's usually like a World Series, a Super Bowl type of event sort of thing. And that's what they're presenting. They are in the business, I regularly say, they're not in the professional wrestling business anymore. They are in big events, streaming, and branding. So in those big events, they want all those little key factors, those little, just finer tuned touches that, say this is big deal. Now, they're not going to do that at SmackDown. They're not going to do that for Raw because those are your television. But Crown Jewel is a big-time premium live event that they want to have that spectacle with.
Are they trying to push it as that now? Is that supposed to become one of the major PLEs now?
No, every PLE is a big deal like that for them. Okay. And especially when you go international to another country, that it's more of a fluff piece to really kind of hype some things up.
But they didn't do that in France.
It's a lot. It's a lot of sizzle. Well, I'm sure that they did. And I think there's also a little bit with this new partnership. Well, not partnership. They own AAA but that is so rich in their history where they do the big presentation with the national anthem in the ring, how you have the company owners, the major figureheads and all that. And then you have the anthems. I think they really fall in love with that look. And again, for the WWE, it's something, again, it's just a lot more sizzle on the steak that they're selling for these big time events to these metropolises and countries around the world.
Oh, it definitely surprised me, man. Put it that way, because I hadn't done it previously. They didn't do it for Elimination Chamber last year, which was in Perth, in a stadium, no less.
I wonder.
More like
I'm curious, like if did this make it to air? Because I didn't see that part. I mean, I thought I watched the entire thing.
You know what? I tuned in right at the start of the Roman match, so I missed the actual national anthem part.
Okay, so I watched from the Then Now Forever, and I didn't see. So I don't know if that was something that was just footage caught in the arena there. I'm sure they've done the anthem stuff.
From what I gathered, apparently the Netflix viewers all got it.
Okay, so that might have been that because I didn't watch it on that distribution. So yeah, mine was just a bunch of it was like 10 minutes of promo packages, and then we lead into the opening match.
Yeah, like I said, I found it strange in general, but everyone was posting it online about the booing of the national anthem.
All right, so it starts with that. So you guys were out and about, rowdy and ready early on, booing the American national anthem. But you know what's scumbags. Even worse?
Dude, the chants that we're doing, especially after the show ended,
let's talk about this. Hey, they do have one chant, one movement that I can get behind. Hashtag Jackie Redmond, take your shirt off.
Oh, I couldn't believe that, bro. I couldn't believe when they were doing that. I was like, all right, now you motherfuckers are going way too far. They were even chanting that Asuka is a cunt, a shit cunt.
See you next
Asuka
Tuesday.
Is a shit cunt. In those words, bro. Even in the arena, they were chanting that during the match.
And then what we got, but there was some quite a few mentions of AEW, All Elite Wrestling.
AEW, they were chanting "fuck Saudi Arabia" as well while Triple H was talking, mind you, which was blowing my mind. They kept chanting that. They chanted MJF. They chanted they want Edge. They even chanted they wanted Batista. They chanted Baldy for Rosenberg, which was funny. I mean, dude, it was distracting. And that's when I was like, all right, keep it classy, Perth. It's no shit. You look like a bunch of, not only marktards, but a bunch of fucking idiots, right? For real. Like, because they really took over, bro. Like, this is the definition of what you don't want. Do you know what I mean? And you can see it. They were trying it was that distracting that it was distracting everyone else. It was distracting me. I couldn't even pay attention. You know what I mean? It was just, they went right over. I have not seen a crowd, no shit, ever that went that overboard, man. I never get annoyed as much as others do about, fans taking over shit.
Like the singing and all that. But I mean, this is like, they're just like personal vulgar attacks at some people.
It was fucking retarded, bro. It was way overkill, man. And I felt like you guys look like clowns. And if anything, and they were chanting for Waller as well. They wanted Waller, right? You know what's going to happen now? Waller's going to get heat for those idiots. You know what I mean? Don't be surprised if Waller gets some sort of heat because of these fools chanting for him the whole time.
We'll see. Maybe he'll be on Raw. We'll be up early to see if Waller gets something on Raw. Yeah.
He's here. Look, everyone's here, man. Everyone's here, but not everyone made it on the PLE for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Which is interesting also.
Well, I mean, you only have, the way that the PLEs are going here, we have 5 matches, which is standard,
right.
5-6 matches. Waller's not really in anything of significance, but they know they can use him on Raw. So you're spreading out those talents. So more of a reason to buy tickets to all of them, to see the different ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that they're doing that, which is cool. But I was surprised, like, that Punk wasn't, like, involved, at Crown Jewel, which I thought he was for whatever reason, but I guess not. And considering there's only 5 matches, the show nearly went for 4 hours, which is interesting. You know what I mean? Some of the matches were quite long.
Yeah, I got the match times. I was kind of surprised, watching through this. But like I told you, though, because I got up early. I was up this morning. I fell asleep during the event this morning, so I had to go back and catch it again this afternoon. I was tired from the track last night, man. They had me hustling. But I was up bright and early, ready to go for it. And I know a lot of people were thinking, yeah, man, 8 a.m. for wrestling. Yeah, I put out there, man, it's just like a kid getting up Saturday morning wrestling, back in the days of Challenge and Superstars. But we regularly, I'll be up early tomorrow, 9 a.m. to watch the NFL.
You wake up for the friggin' NFL. I mean, come on. But I get it. With wrestling, it's like, you know what I mean? But it was, look, like I said, I was going into this show thinking, but it pleasantly surprised me. I feel like I felt it was better than WrestlePalooza, put it that way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well, about the presentation. The second time out now, to compare those two, second time out for this new deal domestically here in the States with ESPN. You still get yours on the Netflix feed there.
Right.
I think that this was heavy on wrestling.
It was very much heavy on wrestling.
Heavy on wrestling. WrestlePalooza was as well here. But you look at some of these. The opening match, the Australian street fight. Oi, oi, oi. Over 20 minutes. Actually, three of the 5 matches over 20 minutes, and one of them, the women's tag, 1955. So that's 4 of these matches essentially in that 20 to 30 minute mark.
Wow, that's crazy, man. That's actually quite crazy. And look, I take my hat off to all of them.
When you make the comparison with wrestling, sorry to cut you off there real quick while I got the thought there. Well, as we're looking at it, very wrestling heavy on this one. WrestlePalooza maybe a little bit more storyline driven. I don't think this one did a whole lot to move storylines. A little bit. We'll jump into all those. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't absent, but I mean, now I think WrestlePalooza gave a little bit more. And I think WrestlePalooza, just simply with the inclusion of Brock Lesnar, had a tremendous, greater amount of star power. And in that match with him and Cena, I think was a much bigger draw than anything. But I mean, it's going to be hard anywhere to put together a match that's going to be an star power wise draw than Cena and Lesnar.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's Cena and Lesnar, but people really love this AJ, Cena match, for example. And look, you can shit on it for all the spots and all that shit that was on that match. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But I felt like the energy to this match compared to Lesnar and Cena was on a different level, though, man. Like I said, I've never seen so many Cena shirts in one arena in my life, bro. That was
at first I was trying to figure out like that they had yellow seats. Were they just giving out yellow T-shirts? And then it occurred to me like, oh, this is the Cena shirt. Dude,
I couldn't believe it, bro.
The Aussies showed out in the thousands for John Cena. They wanted to be excited for that thing. I cannot wait to see the Cena merch number from this event, from this tour.
He's gonna make it. I mean, he was shocked when he walked out. He was like, "Wow!" Like seeing all that sea of yellow. I mean, that was nuts, dude. It looked like a friggin' Pacers game to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in the playoffs, though. You know what I'm saying? It was weird. And Bruce, actually, I'm glad you said that. First of all, they weren't planned, but I saw you, buddy. You were talking a lot of liquor on the WWE post show in the chat. No shit, I saw his name come. I'm like, well, look at this guy. As I'm watching the thing, he was saying stuff like, bring WWE back to the US. He was saying shit like that. I wanted to text you if I knew you had some sort of social media, but I didn't. But, I couldn't find you anyway. But, yeah, it was nuts. It was gnarly at the amount. And they weren't plans, believe me, but they would have brought – I mean, how many shirts would they have had to bring over to sell that many? I mean, they would have sold many,
I don't know if they were shipping or they got local distribution there. But hey, I'm even curious though. I'm gonna. Who said that? Gru was talking about them being plants or something. When you go Wednesday, they're gonna have those on sale. I want to know how much they're selling them for in the arena. It's one of your homework assignments. I want you to go look at that merch stand, look at the selection, check out the line.
Buy something for sure. So,
but. I was even thinking that, like, were they handing these things out at the door?
I told you, I've never seen this in my life, dude. Not on any show, not on television. I've never seen that. That is by far got to be a record, dude.
For shout out over in the chat, the Hammer.
The Hammer, it's Hammer time.
in the house. Hey, quick question over there in the chat for Mr. Alfred. We're talking about 17 countries WWE's running. Mr. Hammer's got to travel around the states, around the world doing wrestling. Let us know, Hammer, one of the craziest cities. It could be domestic, it could be international that you performed in there. I would like to hear that. But Jim, before we jump into these matches here, break down the crown jewel that you guys stole from the Saudis. You got to feel a little bad about that, man. The Saudis over there, they love their pro, and you guys just steal their show.
You know what? At first, I thought this is stupid that we've got crown jewel, but it makes sense because if you remember, and they reminded me, and they reminded everybody, but those belts are all Australian crystals and shit. You know that, right?
Yeah, they had. How could we forget? They mentioned it a couple of times on the show.
And they mentioned it the first time they came out too, when it was in Saudi Arabia, but I forgot all about it. So that's probably why they probably figured, oh well, the fucking belt. I'm picturing Triple H saying this. Well, the belts were made in basically with Australian friggin' jewels. So that makes Australia a crown jewel, right? Yeah. So I guess that's the thing behind
I heard that the belts were really made with ground up Foster's, Australian for beer cans.
No, you know what? Those belts are legitimately worth a lot of money, man.
They do look pretty. They do look pretty cool. But we'll talk about the worth of those things here in a moment. But before Crown Jewel, before the PLE, before booing the anthem and telling Jackie Redmond to take her shirt off, you guys played host to SmackDown. I want to say SmackDown, but that's our show. Their show is SmackDown. And as you said, Jimmy, we've got all the talents are over there. And they're kind of splitting them up. We've got a lot of things happen on SmackDown that didn't have anything to do with the PLE. We're going to see some of that, dude. Like on that on Raw. Yeah, so let's talk about some of the highlights here. I'm really interested with some of the talents that we saw use, how over they are in your neck of the woods down there. One of the first big matches here on SmackDown, Sami Zayn, the United States Championship Open Challenge is answered by, it was funny. I was just thinking about this guy this week. I was doing some project stuff with Paz and we were talking about him. Haven't seen him in a while, but Nakamura So is someone like Nakamura that they intentionally want to get involved because they know they're going to get a good reaction? Obviously, such a tremendous talent. And the styles, him and Sammy are going to go out there and put on a banger. But being so relatively close, Australia and Japan, is it important there that they have the big New Japan wrestling names for your audience down there?
Yeah, well, it's no secret. New Japan do tour Australia quite frequently.
That's right there, right? Why wouldn't you?
Right. Yeah,
it's a huge market. It's a huge market for them.
Yeah, they've always tried to break into the Australian market, as they've always doing with the US as well. Obviously, like we've got our own Strong promotion as well, but it's not called Strong. It's called some sort of Japanese sort of name. I forgot what it was. I'll get back to you on that. But you're right.
Dingo Dojo.
Yeah, they've got dojos here, but it's Bad Luck Fale runs the dojos here, the Fale dojos, and New Zealand. And yes, Japan almost conquered Australia, but if it wasn't for the good old US of A, who saved our butts.
Forgot about that when you're booing our anthem, you SOBs.
Hey, that's why we've since then. That's when we've become way closer to the Americans than the Brits, because the Brits ratted us, bro. You guys came to our rescue. And that's why Japan started bombing you guys after that, because of you guys stopping them from taking over Australia. And then you guys dropped the good old nuke on them.
The Brits had their hands full in China, trying to help the Chinese out against the Japanese. So
that to the Chinese, bro.
Dude, the Japanese were a-holes to a lot of people back then.
Which is weird, because when you look at the people, you think, no way these same peoples were like that when you think about it, right? It's weird.
Now all we think about is a little Japanese. We like everybody.
Iyo is such an innocent frigging chick, bro. Like she's so wholesome. But anyway, we went off the subject there. What was the original question?
I was talking about the importance of using those established New Japan stars because of the market and the importance there.
Yeah, I mean, look, make no mistake about it. It made total sense to bring someone like Nakamura back. Not just that, he loves his surfing. We all know that, right? So Perth would have been a great opportunity for him to hit the surf. Since they're staying there, they've been there for nearly a week already. So, you know what I mean? They're obviously going to probably go around and see the sights and whatnot. I guarantee you, Nakamura will be surfing somewhere over there. But it was good to see him back. But what does this mean?
That's what it's the open challenge. You're just kind of running somebody out there. I don't really know. And that's why I was curious about that. Is this just hey, let's use Nakamura here. We know he's going to get a great reaction. People are going to be into it because of those ties with New Japan. That's all I really saw that is. I don't think there's going to be any investment.
Think we're not going to see him again now for another few months?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't really know where there is, what direction to go with him.
Well, then let me ask you this. He's kind of lucky not to have been released, man, when you think about it, right? But for whatever reason, they hold on to him still. Do you think they will still hold on to him?
He's still good internationally like that.
Absolutely,
because he has that draw and he's a good worker. And we don't know how much he's making. Dude. So I mean, it's pretty interesting. The tag team division, usually a low point for us here, but we do have a tag team championship match that went down on SmackDown. The Wyatt Six, they defeat the Street Profits here. Of note in kind of developing this thing,
and they got their old theme back, dude.
We got but more so is in the after the match, Solo Sikoa and My Family Tree.
The God, bro, the Gorillas of Destiny is back.
They are here, and they have a stare down here with the Wyatts. Jimmy, any interest here? Is there anything here breathing new life or hope into this dark abyss that is the SmackDown Tag Division?
Well, it sure feels like it this time, because let's be real, SmackDown felt like a real reset of the show, bro. It's like they hit the reset button and let's start again. You know what I mean? Let's see where we go with this one, and this direction. So I'm kind of intrigued about it now, because the Wyatts aren't going to beat the motherfucking Tongans, bro. The MFTs. That ain't happening, man. And I feel that they'll be the ones that get the championships, And I think they'll hold them for quite a while this time. And then I could see the Profits and them probably feuding. You know what I mean? I'm actually excited to see where they go. And if they make them as champs, and if they use the New Day rule, the Freebird rules, where any of them can sort of represent,
Okay.
I think it would be pretty cool if they actually did that.
That's what I'm not really going to hold my breath, because we've seen so many instances where we're like, okay, they can actually jumpstart this division here, because there's a lot of talent there. It's just been so poorly handled creatively. The matches really haven't really clicked there. Not a lot to get invested with. I guess we didn't really talk about headlines. There wasn't a lot out there, but I did read, I'm sure you did as well, that there has been a bit of a shakeup. Road Dogg's still in charge, but they're bringing in some new generals into the fold there for the creative side of things. So maybe we'll get some new fresh ideas. Hammer, real quick, dropping in I asked him one of the craziest places that he had wrestled, small town in Puerto Rico. Let's see here. Fans aim for heads while in the ring or on the ropes. Get heat, cover your face as you go to the back room.
Hammer in Puerto Rico at the wrestlers. I've heard stories where they're throwing literally like coins at the wrestlers.
Holy shit.
And, yeah, apparently it gets pretty bad, man. I don't know if that's what he's referring to, without actually typing it. But
you back in the day, attitude era. This is Bret Hart's still in the WWE at this time, and it's him and Undertaker at a Raw here at the Cincinnati Gardens. And I look over and I see like the lights were out, and they come back on. I see my buddy is throwing stuff. I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" He was chucking batteries. Yeah, because the Undertaker's entrance. So Bret Hart's standing in there with the belt, and I'm seeing like this motion. Like, what are you doing, dude? He's over there chucking batteries at Bret Hart.
Did you hate Bret Hart that bad? He's doing.
Dude, everybody hated. This is right there. This is
97.
This is the Hart Foundation.
That was a great time.
It's America versus the world, man. And to me, that was the greatest gimmick and angle in professional wrestling history.
It's right,
not the NWO, not all that, man, but the Hart Foundation in the world versus America. But
I think 97 WWF is so underrated, because at the time WCW was just destroying him in terms of ratings. You know what I mean? But that 97 year with WWF and the whole Hart friggin' feud, with everybody, and how he was getting booed in the US and cheered everywhere else, especially in Canada, was pretty awesome times, man. And it brought out that real nationalistic tribalism between the US and Canada. And they were going to Canada every second week, it felt like, dude. Like, they were going back and forth between the US and Canada all the time during that time. I mean, Canada does get it just as much as the US does, but,
Heavy on the touring back then, and they were selling them out. It was such a hot thing, but you said it was just kind of a footnote, because WCW was on such a hot streak then. But also on the SmackDown.
About it, though,
on the SmackDown, we've had a big personal building up fire feud going here. We get a last man standing. Damian Priest, Aleister Black, they're fighting all over the place. This is last man standing. Of course, you got to answer that 10 count, knock your opponent where they can't get up to get the win there. They're fighting all over the place. They eventually find themselves up on a higher platform there. Priest looking for the kill shot. Going to put away Aleister Black. And I guess the big news from this SmackDown, what the internet's buzzing about, it is Zelina Vega, Black's actual wife, comes to the aid of her husband, is begging Damian Priest, please do not do it. Do not do it. The Puerto Rican Undertaker hesitates for a moment, and he is caught with a fireball.
Eats a black, too long, bro.
Eats a black mass, an actual fireball, not a cinnamon whiskey shot.
It was like Yokozuna and Hogan all over again back in 94.
Gets that black mass. Hey, I was there about that, actually.
What,
gets
King
the
of the
black
Ring,
mass.
94?
Yep. It was in Dayton, Ohio.
With the camera guy friggin' doing the fireball. Gimme.
Yep. That was in the arena.
Hilarious. I remember that like it was yesterday, man.
And Black picks up the win here with this fireball. I guess, does that, I don't think this puts this feud to rest. I don't think this is the blow off for it. We kind of get that new wrinkle tossed in there. But Jimmy, your thoughts just on the feud? Where do we go from here? And the alliance now between real life husband and wife with Zelina and Black.
Well, that I'm happy about, right? But then again, someone brought up yesterday in the watch along. I can't remember who. Someone in the chat probably said it. Maybe it was Zane even. I can't remember. But about how they don't. Oh no, it was Labrat actually. How they don't want all these friggin' oh yeah, it was King of the Ring 93. You're right. No, it wasn't. It was 94.
I think it was 93
when Bret Hart won it, the tournament.
Yeah, Bret Hart did win that tournament.
Oh no, you're right. It was after WrestleMania 9, man. Now that I think about it, in Vegas.
Yeah,
93.
Bret Hart won the tournament.
You know, because you know how Hogan beat Yokozuna when Bret Hart was in the main. You know what I'm talking about, in WrestleMania. And then after that, we went to King of the Ring. Hogan losing the belt back to Yokozuna, and then he jumped ship to WCW a year later, pretty much. But he was gone from WWE after that. But
that
anyway,
was his last WWE appearance, and then he went to Thunder in Paradise.
Yeah,
and then he got the meeting with Bischoff and showed up in WCW.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. But Bret Hart won the King of the Ring that year too, wasn't it? 93.
Yep. Yeah, he went back to back.
No, it wasn't Owen the year after.
He won. This is 93 was the first year. It was the first year for the King of the Ring.
And then 94 didn't Owen win it?
I think it was the year after. Maybe Brett went back to back, but I know it was 93. I was there. Dayton, it was the Nutter Center in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, I remember the Nutter Center. It's true. Anyway, what was I what was I saying before that? Because that
we're talking about Zelina and.
Oh yeah. I was happy about that. You know, but again, people were sort of saying, "Well, we're gonna have all these couples." I mean, you could do a Survivor Series couples. Think about it.
Well,
right?
you know, Hammer over there suggesting we could get into the intergender tag. Remember going back here a couple of years ago, we had the mixed tag thing. It was a special attraction that they had. That was the tournament that they had. And I don't know if it spiked a lot of interest. That was kind of my thought here. Chat, let us know over there. Would you guys, is there any interest in these intergender division, if you will? It was kind of the other thing there. Like, are we just going to go in a direction of just throwing together real life couples on air?
Yeah, it's too much though. Do you think?
Well, you got Punk and AJ, you got Becky and Seth. This one you got Zelina and Black. Bianca and Ford.
Oh shit, yes. And I'm pretty sure there's more. If Edge comes back, then we got Edge and Beth.
Well, I mean, there's their thing going on over at AEW. We could have El Americano and Titty Time.
Yeah. Even though she denies them two going out anymore, but that's bullshit. They are still together. There's a lot of power couples, dude, now that you think about it. But who's the power couple? If you had to pick the best, who do you think the best combination would be? Me? It'd be Seth and Becky, I think.
No, it's what we're going to get. The Saudis are going to pay for it. Michelle McCool and The Undertaker.
And Zane says, bring back the mixed match challenge. No, thanks.
That's what it was called, the mixed match challenge. That's what it was.
And Zane, thanks for that. It was Brett, Owen, and Mabel. Brett didn't do back-to-back. I
think Brett won the year before it went to pay-per-view.
That, I don't know. There was King of the Ring, though.
There was King of the Rings before it went.
That's true.
So maybe that's what it was. Miz and Maurice. I mean, we got a lot of them that we could pull out here. Man, there is a lot of humping going on in his locker room.
Triple H and Stephanie's definitely the power couple, but they'll be the bosses. Like them two are or maybe Vince and Linda technically, if they were still around. But like Triple H and Stephanie's definitely the boss couple.
Vince and Jeanette.
I mean, shit. I mean, anyway, let's not go there. But
I don't know if it does anything for me as a fan to see some of these pairings. But I think the biggest one that they're missing, which could bring in a lot of money, is that a lot of people have talked about for a while, is why aren't we getting Bianca and Ford and some kind of
again together? I forgot about them two too. Shit. Yeah, no, them two should be. I think them two for real. Not only does it make sense, but I think they work good together, dude. I think that would be great if you did pair them together. And at this point, Montez has got to get away from Dawkins, bro. I hate to say it, and I like Dawkins, right? I do. I really do. But look at it like this. You know, with Cole Fletcher in AEW, the best thing that ever happened to Cole Fletcher was his partner getting injured, bro. Because he wouldn't be where he's at right now in AEW. He'd still be in the tag team with Aussie Open, like they were called. For me, if Dawkins got injured, like for long term, and Tez was still around, Tez would end up getting that push. You know what I'm saying? Or something.
I would be, how they break those two up. I don't think, as Bruce saying, Dawkins is an anchor.
It's an anchor.
I think there's a lot of potential for both of these guys. I see talent in each of them. And not because Dawkins just a homer. I'm being a homer here because he's a Bearcat, Bengal fan, Cincinnati boy. I think there is something with him, but I think, for the longest time, so many fans have just been waiting, all right, for Ford to have that breakout. Montez to get his moment to go try to raise up the ranks in the singles competition. Do we get to a point where we've been waiting for so long for Ford to have those opportunities that it just grows stale? Is there possible? Do we have a conversation that ship has sailed?
Yes, absolutely. Because look how many start and stops they've done, not only with both of them, but even when they were teasing Tez on that singles sort of run. Remember when he was in Elimination Chamber, for example, he kind of put on a show then a few years ago in Saudi, if I remember correctly. It was the Elimination Chamber there. And what Hammer says is true too. He's done too much comedy also. He's got to chillax on that. But the truth is, the guy's a former Marine. The guy was, he was in the middle of wars, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was there. He was fighting. You could tell so much of a story with this guy if he actually took himself seriously for once instead of always fucking around. You know what I mean? If he was just, like, serious for a bit, right? Like, just be serious and not always sort of playing around. You can not only tell a great story with Montez, but I feel like he's got so much charisma that he can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with him.
I kind of like what you're suggesting there. The chat group's talking about it over there. Hammer said he's done too much comedy. So we need, the theme here on the SmackDown is resets, new beginnings. You could do that going back to basics, boot camp, if you will. So have Ford go back to NXT. Let him become the top dog in the development brand for a little bit. For Dawkins, maybe it's something as we got this partnership, this relationship with TNA. Let him go work TNA for a while and see how he cuts it, how he does on his own. So we're letting those guys have opportunities away from each other, but we're not trying to jam them, jam a round piece into a square on the red or blue. So you can give them an opportunity back in development, a different brand, let them see what they can do, and then maybe hook them up at some point.
I mean, Hammer even says go to Japan.
Yeah, but we've got the working relationship with TNA.
WWE don't do excursions either, man. To be honest, it's like that type of excursion. And like you said, Rick, they do have that working relationship with TNA. So what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that'd be interesting. So again, there is some interest there. We're adding some hopefully bright minds to the creative. So hopefully on SmackDown, we'll keep our eye on that for that reset. But hey, we had things happening there on the blue brand. Didn't necessarily pertain to Crown Jewel, but Jimmy, let's go ahead. Let's jump in to the big PLE from Perth. Yes, the Crown Jewel. We get the open, not the open that Jimmy was talking about before, where those dirty dingoes were booing the national anthem. But we have a
on behalf of Australia. I'm sorry. All right, we don't play like that on the East Coast, man. They're all weird bunch over there on the West Coast.
Hey, you know what? We don't like our West Coast either. We wish it would just fall into the ocean here in the States. But
I'm a fan of of your West Coast, not so much of my own West Coast.
West Coast sucks.
Jesus.
Hey, speaking of that, so this thing aired at 8 a.m. here. So what would have been 7, 6? That's 5. Vet had to get up at 5 a.m. if he wanted to watch this thing out of the gate.
Dude,
that's early.
He's a machine.
He might have. He might have been just coming home from work, hell. But yeah, so 5
a.m. That's what I'm
saying. But we open up the show that I saw here with a beautiful little package of the Crown Jewel Championships, as you said. Those things put together there with the jewels from Australia. They are some good looking titles, and they're getting the top, the Brinks truck service, baby, all the way from the States, the private WWE jet,
from
personally.
Saudi Arabia, and then the
Oh, okay, is that where they brought it from there? But I just
they stay at the the WWE Experience in Saudi Arabia that they brought
okay, that's recently. Where they are highlighted.
They're housed there. So, and it was legit too. They literally went from Saudi Arabia into the private jet of WWE, flown over to here, and they're treating it like they're friggin' the Olympic torches, bro.
Hey, those belts are big. Stephanie Vaquer wins the women's one. She almost disappeared putting that thing on or having it over her shoulder. Those things are gigantic.
Yeah, they look ugly in terms of sort of the design, but they're gorgeous in terms of the rocks all over them and all that. Those belts would be definitely the most expensive belts probably ever made. Like, no doubt about it.
I like them. We also get a nice little welcome to Australia, voiced over by the one, the only, I don't want to say hometown, but homegrown, the country woman, Rhea Ripley, leads us in, and we get our first big match of the night. Roman Reigns, he is either in the opener or the closer, so no surprise that his match is going to kick some things off for us. But before Roman, the one, can we get the acknowledgement there, Jimmy? Can you get that acknowledgement? Before the OG Chief makes his way in, we got an Aussie. We got an Aussie. Your brother.
I hated him too.
I was surprised about that. We get Bronson Reed, and it's not the hero's welcome. Not the hero's welcome. They're even. It seemed like they were even surprised on commentary about that. Like, wow, this guy is getting some hate in his hometown country. Bronson Reed, that crowd was not having it. They were 100% behind Roman Reigns. Australian street fight. How many Australian street fights have you been in today, Jimmy? I know you had that almost throw down tango with those 4 kangaroos at 4 a.m. in the morning.
That's a true story.
But outside of that, how many times has the salami tsunami Jimmy T had to throw down?
Dude, I got into a throwdown about a couple of years ago. I've got a scar right here. I was doing the shows too. I got a friggin' a pussy punch thrown at me, man. So I've got into a few biffs. But at this age, I don't want to fight anymore. You know what I mean? But back in the day, yeah, I used to get into quite a bit because of my high school was pretty fucked up. Now that I think about it, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, man, I've been in a few biffs. I mean, I've been there, done that one too many times. Probably had a few concussions along the way. But the most recent one was a couple years ago, which shouldn't have happened, really. But it happened. And I had a big scar here, dude. I should have gotten stitches.
After all them fights, that big old noggin of yours, man, could you withstand a kick?
I've never been knocked out, bro. Never.
Do you think you would have taken those kangaroos?
No.
Those menacing kangaroos?
No fucking way.
That were not ready to jump you. They were going to hop you at 4 a.m.
Dude, I shat myself. Like I've said a million times. Those things at 4 a.m., dude, like think about this. Yeah, it's pitch black. And you see these, at first I thought they were aliens, dude. I'm not going to lie. I've never just gone right up to these things right from behind. And the way they were just sitting there, I know I've said this a million times, but dude, they were just sitting there stiff, just not moving. But they're right at the corner, waiting to cross the road, literally. And I'm like, how the fuck am I going to turn around and get back? Because if they notice me, I'm fucked, bro.
Were you just square, race 50 style boxing? Come on, kangaroo, come on.
Yeah, but not just that. They kicks. If they kick you, you're fucked. 100%. Their tail, dude, they're tanks, man. Have you seen their chest and biceps when they flex?
Get that flex game on with them kangaroos. Well, hey. That flex game, Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed. This is one of your typical laid out Roman Reigns matches. I enjoy them. They're a bit slower paced. Roman takes his time. Right. They hit a big move. They let you.
It's all about the spots with Roman, really, when you think about it.
Well, it's a good. It's like you get that really
greatest hits.
perfectly cooked, delicious, big old ribeye in front of you. You know,
Right,
you
but it's
cut
the
into that
same
fast,
sort
then you
of
got that
thing.
juice. I know, but they move at that pace where you can savor, you can enjoy each
Right,
bite.
no, I've got no problem with it. Absolutely. He does it good. The way it's done is done well. So I'm not going to complain about it. No, definitely.
In this one, the match goes. We were talking about these long matches. This one is at the 21-minute mark. You know, they're working around ringside. They go over the rail a little bit. Roman's using that prime energy, tossing that out into the crowd to get the table involved. We got kendos. And then we finally, as we're all waiting for it, and I think this is maybe where we can start breaking this, you know, taking the match apart. Braun Breaker gets involved. You know, we're all waiting for it. Even the commentary. You knew this is coming. You know this is coming. If we all know this is coming, why aren't there some kind of precautionary steps to prevent that?
Well, it kind of wasn't there with the Usos?
I mean, they take, all right, so shouldn't it be like on the spot? Jay and Jimmy on the spot, you know, not
technically.
Oh, let's,
I mean,
you know, they're really like surprised by this. They're back in catering. They're sitting with their feet up. So there's enough time to put Roman. There's enough time to put Roman through the table. But all right, now we got to run the gorilla, hit our music, and we're gonna work our way. We're gonna walk about halfway down the entrance, then
right,
you know, pick up. So why aren't we there? Like, if we're a team and those kangaroos around, I keep my eyes on them kangaroos, Jimmy, the whole time. I'm just not gonna wait to see how you do.
Oh, yeah, fuck, bro.
So we do have the Usos get involved here. They're looking all right, but the Vision is able to turn the tide. You know, they get back on top. We get the big spot there where Jay is going to spear. Was he doing Bronson or was it Braun? Either one. The Vision move out of the way. He puts the tribal chief through the table, and that eventually sets up. Were you surprised? Is this a shocker? I think, you know, the chat saying, hey,
absolutely,
big win here. Bronson Reed. Hey, only the second guy outside of Cody Rhodes to get a singles win to pin Roman Reigns in like what, 6 years?
Yeah, maybe even more.
Yeah, I mean, at least 5-6 years.
It's been a long time either way. So it's clearly, not only does WWE see a lot in Bronson Reed, but I bet you even Roman sees a lot in Bronson Reed for whatever reason. Now, I don't know if it's because they're both Samoans, and it could be, you know, hey, Uso fucking, you know, give you a little hands up sort of thing. Could be that. Or they love the guy, man. I mean, obviously there's something to him. Me personally, I still think he's a little bit green, bro, in some ways, and can still be improved.
Well, he's not a young pup. I mean, he's not your age, isn't he?
No, he's right. Not 40s. He's been around a long time, though. Like, you know, even in the Australian indie scene. But I'm pretty sure he's in his early 30s, mid-30s tops, dude.
I'm on it here right now.
I could be wrong.
I'm on it. But so, yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a shocker here, but he's 37.
Okay, shit. He's older than I expected, honestly. Like, I guess it's close to me. 6 years, though. I've got 6 years on him.
Well, I mean, but he's still relatively new. You know, he's not one of those guys that have been prominent. That are, you know, but hey, getting into that 40s is where a lot of these guys are hitting their stride here. Yeah, he's a good talker.
It's weird. It's true.
Got a good look, decent athleticism. But this is like we said, only the second person outside of Cody Rhodes to pick up a singles victory to pin Roman Reigns in at least the last 5 years. We talk about those rubs, big wins, those moments. I think he's got to be feeling pretty good, you know, to have that memory in his home country and to still and not be one of those homers, was still able to go out there and generate heat. You know, that people were disappointed to see him win, especially in his homeland.
They'll bully him out of the building, bro.
And I think, you know, we're going to talk, you know, break down the match, but Seth picks up the big win in the main event. I think really we should say for the Vision up to this point, this is probably the biggest win for this group. To beat Roman Reigns.
Absolutely, but easily by far, man. And I like the fact that, like leading up to even with Seth, you know, how Seth was asking Hamin, what does this mean if I lose? If I don't beat Cody, what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? And basically, you know, Haman's like, well, then I'm wasting my time. Basically, you know what I mean? And the fact that Haman told him not to interfere. Yeah, I'll get to that, Gruss. I was talking about that earlier, by the way, because he's asking what's up with that crowd, Jimmy T. It was odd, bro. It was odd.
You go back and listen to the replay. We broke down that crowd at the get go.
It was fucking odd, but it got more ridiculous at the end too. But anyway, which he would have heard because I saw him interacting on that post game show. But anyway, yeah, like this is a big deal for Reed, man. I just hope that you know, obviously WWE have tried to push him already for a long time. You know, even before he got injured, he was meant to be part of the bloodline even initially, if you remember. And then he got hurt, unfortunately for him, and then suddenly he ended up here.
But Triple H has been big on him as well, even going to the NXT days and all that
he's
stuff.
praising him all the time too on his X page and shit. So yeah, he definitely sees something in him. They all see something in him. They wouldn't be putting him over like this, let alone Roman. Roman just doesn't put anyone over, dude. You know what I mean? So to me,
you know, to have them give Reed this opportunity instead of Braun also speaks, you know, what they think about him, and it does save him, because I think of the group, we probably think that Bronson has the least upside, or is, you know, the bigger lackey of the three.
Right, but they're trying to prove otherwise, which is weird. But you know what's funny? People literally think that Bronson Steiner, that is, as in Bron Breakker, is criminally being underutilized right now by being with Seth. You know how many freaking idiots say that? I don't agree with that. I think he's in a good spot.
Just being impatient right now. He's fine where he's sitting. People just want everything right away.
And I get what they're saying, right? But at the same time, it's like, man, he's upper mid card. He's in main event storylines as well. I mean, the guy is still young. What do you want him to like? What do you?
It's just people. It's just people that need everything right now. He's fine right
he
where
needs to be champion now. He's still green like a motherfucker, bro. He really
I think it is right. They needed a big win for these two here. I was right to go with Bronson here because Braun is going to be the dude eventually. Let's wait for his big moment, his big breakthrough win. It is going to be coming. Also here though, Jimmy, as turn our attention from the Vision, the Bloodline. Some more turmoil there. You know, Roman was not pleased, as mentioned over there in the chat. He did ask them not to get involved. I still think you got to have some kind of plan, provisions in place, because you know, especially in a street fight, ready you can go, that you're going to have that interference. Roman scolds the twins. Then Jay storms off. He's just, you know, he's kind of pissed that Roman was pissed, and Jimmy's just kind of left standing there again.
Yeah, but you know what? Oh, sorry about that. You know what cringed me though about this? At least with Reigns, he played the role like he was angry, he was pissed off, and he's walking off, and he's sort of murmuring to himself, you know, as he's walking away, right? But could you see with Jimmy and Jay, especially Jimmy? Jimmy's a freaking clown, bro. You know what I mean? He can't help himself but laugh and trying not to laugh at shit. And if you look at his face, he's trying not to laugh as he's talking to his brother. Like, come on, man, what are you doing? And you can see in his face, like, he wants to laugh. And Jay is looking at him. And Jay's trying hard not to, like, react to that. So he's like, oh. So he's not looking at him. And that's what takes me out of the story a little bit. Because it's like, Jimmy, fucking, I know you find shit funny, but fucking relax, bro. Try not to show it. You know what I mean?
You know, he's in the position he's at. You know, there's a reason there.
I get that, but it's like, come on, man. And also, Rick, what the hell's going on? So is Jay becoming a heel?
I think that's where they're going here. He needs to kind of think here. Over the chat, they mentioned maybe Roman and Jay in a big match here at WrestleMania. Are we going to get? Are these guys going to be a team here as we get ready for Survivor Series? Which means, right? I assuming War Games.
You think so? Because who else? What other faction is going to go up against? I assume the Tongans.
Well, I mean, that's going to be the question
solo too, mind you. 100%. That's going to happen.
Is that the right direction though to go there? I mean, I think it would be because these guys are more Raw related. You throw CM Punk. Like, do we? I don't know. I guess with the Tongans, you're talking My Family Tree.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think those guys are have the value, the star power to headline, to have inside of the war game structure. I think you got to go with that star power. And that star power is the Usos, who had a big spot at WrestlePalooza that people recognize. Of course, Roman Reigns. You got CM Punk you could put into that. And you create what you do with that is you take the Vision and then align them with some other big names to build out your 2 5-man teams.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the Vision again. Supposedly, there was rumors that Austin Theory was going to join the group and actually make his debut with the team, during the Seth and Cody match. But that didn't end up happening. And again, Meltzer was wrong. But Gruss thinks that the MFTs won't be in War Games.
I think that would be a disservice to the match. I don't think that group has enough anywhere. I don't think that group has anywhere near the star power to headline a PLE like that.
Well,
and I don't think they have the talent. They're fine as a group. They're fine just because they're a group does not mean they need to go into that thing. They are mid card at best. And that's not a knock. You need to have that. You got to have that rankings and all that. But no, you need star power inside of that match. Don't let the gimmick just try to sell itself to draw for your new partnership with ESPN.
Well, yeah, there's that too. But you know what? It all depends on how they get built, man, as well. Like if they're built up to be killers, bro, like absolute killers.
It's not there. It's not going to happen. But it's already that ship has sailed.
Well, now that they've got their Gorillas of Destiny's look again suddenly, I mean, and it did feel like a reset on SmackDown.
You're not gonna in a month's turnaround. No, they've got enough going on with them. They can do some other things with that group. If we'd want to do something that Survivor Series weekend for SmackDown, as we break up, we're trying to make each show for those big weekends a little bit meaningful.
Right.
That SmackDown main event it with my family tree in a traditional 5-on-5 Survivor Series match. That could fly, but I don't think it would be a huge disservice to Survivor Series, to War Games, to your partnership with ESPN to put them inside of that match. They're mid.
I see where you're coming from, but then
they're just not the star power.
So what would you do, like moving forward towards this Survivor Series? Say, like if you had to build two sort of factions or teams or whatever.
I just what I said there. You've got where Roman and the twins are three of them. That CM Punk could do as another spot.
So I don't know who that. Yeah, basically.
I don't really know who that fifth one is. Yeah, but you still have that star power, and they're countering. Maybe Cody comes in. We could tie that in our main event when we talk about that. You could, and then you have Seth. Then you could bring Drew in if you want. If you wanted to give somebody like one individual a rub to maybe join that team to help out, maybe Jacob. But my family tree is not going to do anything to get that match over, to get an event over.
Yeah, I mean, look, even Gus says, like they don't have the MFTs don't have the credibility yet.
Yeah, okay. I'm not saying this is a complete knock on them. They're just mid-card.
No. I get what you're saying. I'm not even thinking like that. Put it that way. I'm not even looking at you, saying like you're knocking them because you're not. I totally get it.
They're just not ready for that spot. But Bronson Reed, he's ready for the big time. He picks up that big win over Roman Reigns. Well, it's a big win for him right
now. But does this give him the real rub?
He still got a ways to go.
You
get a win over Roman Reigns, it's going to move you up there. But it's a big win for him. Goes over 21 minutes there. Our next matchup, we get our look at our women's Crown Jewel Championship. Of course, it is the Raw Women's World Champion, Stephanie Vaquer, Miss Horny herself. Horny time, taking on SmackDown's Women's Champion, Titty time, Tiffany Stratton. This one here, they both looked absolutely amazing. This one only goes 10 minutes.
That's weird because it felt a little, actually, kind of a little longer. But yeah, that's nuts. And did you feel there was a bit of a botch in the finish? If you notice when what's it called, La Primera, when she did her finisher, the what does she call it again?
I don't know. It's got that little corkscrew.
The corkscrew sort of looks like Olympic diving. You know what I'm talking about? She overshot it and went legs.
Well, it looked like she kind of like corked herself like a little like weird sideways. There was like a little bit of a weird landing. I guess
she landed her knees hit the Tiffy right on the arms and torso, bro, like pretty hard.
I thought where those knees landed, she was lucky she didn't erupt one of them titties. Yeah, it could have been disastrous. But hey, but to her credit, Stephanie, a big win here early on in her reign, championship reign, because Tiffany has been unstoppable the last year.
Dude, is she regressing or am I tripping?
I don't think she's regressing. It's just that, again, like her character, she has not evolved at all. And now we're starting to see that in her ring style. She is stale. She is so stale because
lately.
Maybe there's an injury or something. Maybe that's why this thing only goes 10 minutes here on a show where we have got these extended match times here. I think the whole thing with her, I've been asking, pleading with, begging people, tell me why. Why should we care about her? She's just stale. And now the stale-ass character, the lack of connection with the fans is now just wearing off on the in-ring.
Right now, though, something's off. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like she's lost her confidence a little bit, dude.
They need to do, again, if we're getting more creative people here, need to focus on actually evolving that character, making a connection. And I could almost say the same thing here for Stephanie Vaquer, because since calling her up, she's an absolute workhorse, but there's been nothing with her. And there really still is no direction. Credible challengers, stories that we're going to get
interested. They don't know
what
to do with it. Just like Gunther, they don't know what to do with Gunther unless he's champion, bro.
Right. And it's just relying on work rate. And work rate will only get you so far. You need that connection. But Stephanie does win that match there. Third match out. We talked a little bit about this, but I want to revisit this for the conversation. The Sea of Yellow, baby.
I can't get over
they
that,
were
man,
representing. It still blows my mind.
I'm
still wondering if they just giving those T-shirts out. If not, how much were they selling for? Your homework assignment to see how much they were selling for in the arena. Keep our eye out for Cena's merch figures when those are released. But this is John Cena's last overseas match. Obviously, last match there.
3 more dates left, or 4 now.
In Australia.
Right.
The place goes absolutely insane. In my notes, when he made this entrance, I like the bouncing kangaroo thing, too, that he had going on, in the graphics. But it just reconfirms about how, I don't even say it like bad is the right term here, because it far exceeds that. How just mind-boggling stupid it was to turn John Cena, because people want to celebrate on this farewell tour.
They screwed him, bro. They really did. It's left a bad sort of
7 months wasted on the final run, where people just want to celebrate and have a good time with John Cena and thank him for all that he's done. It just reminds you of how stupid, mind-boggling, the worst creative decision that they could have done in a while. And that says something about how creatively drained this company is. And they still thought that was a good idea. But yeah, this crowd loved it. The match itself. First, AJ comes out. You had mentioned this to me before we hit the air. It immediately, it felt weird, man, to see him in the biker shorts again.
It was weird. It was TNA all over again. TNA 2005, you know what I mean? Like literally all over again.
I'm hoping maybe it was I'm hoping it was a little teaser. But I think would be cool. Tomorrow night, Sunday, as we sit here on a Saturday and record, October 12th, Bound for Glory. Well, I think I just want to see him, AJ, with something at Bound for Glory, which is looking like a good show.
Over back now, he won't be back in time.
Hey, AJ's done that before.
From Australia, though.
Hey, he's gone a pretty far distance. Back when they had that bailout, remember when they all got hit with that they were in that intestinal thing, and he was down in Brazil and had to make a shot like all the way up to Canada for a show like that.
Or Chile. Was it Chile he might have been?
Yeah.
I think even.
Yeah.
It was Chile.
So, yeah, and he made that shot. Hey, if he was going to do it, the match itself we'll talk about here in a minute. But, yeah, it was different seeing AJ in that look. Hoping he has something to do with Bound for Glory. That'd be such a cool moment for that company as well. They mentioned, and I liked it, and I think what was so cool about this match, you didn't need a whole lot of story build to this thing. They do have their history, 2-2 versus each other. Last time they squared off was 2018. We had that great little program with beat up John Cena. But they did make mention. I thought it was kind of cool that they mentioned that right now we're celebrating John Cena's farewell tour, but next year is going to be the last year for AJ.
Yeah, I already knew that, and he did bring it up. Very low key, though, not so public about him saying it was his last year until now. What I did find cool, though, was what Cena had a little note for AJ, like, you know, for the ring announcer to read out for AJ, which I felt took Cena right. I mean, not Cena, AJ by surprise, because, you know, he's a real good Christian type of guy, right? He doesn't swear, doesn't cuss at all, dude.
Flat earther, baby.
And yeah, there's that too, which he gets a lot of slack for. But this was the first time he swore, bro. Because when they when they passed the note to the ring announcers to read out,
he dropped like an F-bomb a couple of weeks ago in the ring. Something went wrong and he got all mad.
I never heard him drop an F-bomb, bro. And I just heard him say shit for the first time. He was like, "Oh shit!" Like really? Like that's what he was saying. With the note.
You go to confession or whatever. He's probably Southern Baptist, so. But the match, the match itself, Jimmy goes 27 minutes 10 seconds, and they do it all here. Dude, how many finishers? What was the count for finishers? Right.
All right, look, you can go two ways. I've seen very small amount of people. It's very minimal. Absolutely shit on this match. Because of all the friggin', finishes and all that.
Well, why?
It's idiots, all right?
In a regular,
you can do that.
In a regular, we got to throw out the rules here. This is something different.
Dude, it's that farewell. All that bullshit, right?
You got all these Easter eggs that are hidden in there. They're going at it here. Get off your damn high horse for something like this. This is something very different.
Right, it's very different. That's why.
I thought, hey, we were kind of hard on the Australian fans there. They're a little rowdy. Got a cool moment with the Firefly thing with the Sister Abigail, and then immediately they pick up on it.
That was cool, bro. That was
you see that even Cena was kind of like, wow, this is kind of that cool, this really cool moment.
The way they reacted. And the way the crowd reacted, WWE didn't tell them to do that. They just did it, off their own bat, literally. When they brought out the phones, that was a cool moment, dude, because I didn't think they were even expecting them to all react that way too, which was a cool sight to see. And look, man, I saw Cena was getting emotional, dude. The way that pop he got when he came out, you could see it in his face too. Like he was literally suddenly he was trying to stop himself from crying, dude.
I think for real. That's where we could excuse that. Who said this there? Bruce again. Cena Styles was a WWE 2K match. It was fun, and that's what they're doing right now. So it's okay. This is a different kind of reality with it. They're on a farewell tour here. They're doing all the greatest hits. It's Easter eggs. It's thank yous. It's shout outs through the moves, through the storytelling in the match to this grand career of 23-year career. Damn near most of it spent as the face of the company, right on top of it. And I heard Cornette talking about this the other day, and I paid on my notes because I wanted to ask Ben about it and you as well. The old Amish in professional wrestling is go out on your back. That's not necessarily, and Cornette was saying this isn't the case for something with Cena. And this is, again, why it was so stupid to turn him heel, because this is a farewell tour. People want to cheer, want to have fun, have a good time with John Cena right now. I think that last match especially should win that thing because people want to be excited and celebrate on that.
Absolutely. Well, he's not gonna, he doesn't need to put anyone over unless it's someone that's young and up and coming, like legit, that's going to actually make a difference for him to actually lose.
The one things with that though, like I get the mindset the theory behind that. But where is the guarantee that that young individual is good, that rub is going to propel them to stardom? And then you might have wasted that.
It's true. I mean, and just
Like
quietly,
so many people saying, "Oh, it should have been, you know, some upstart that to beat the streak, to end the streak, and what it could have done." Well, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe then it would be wasted. You know, they were like the time when Maven eliminated the Undertaker from the Rumble. You know, could you imagine if it was Maven that ended the streak? I mean, how we would be laughing about that?
No, you can't do that. Look. Remember when Austin Theory beat Cena, for example? Where did that go? Nowhere. You know what I mean? It got him nowhere, literally. And just quietly, Aaron, I'm not deleting none of your comments, dude. I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
Yeah,
I'm not. You're a bit paranoid, man. I don't delete no one's comments.
But we do have John Cena picks up the win here over AJ Styles. Man, AJ Styles, what a loser he is. Can't even beat John Cena. Everybody beats John Cena.
Beat John Cena. Remember the saying? Yeah, beat up John Cena,
yeah.
like he used to say.
But this guys go out there and have a lot of fun. 27 minutes, and the crowd loved every second of it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Aaron, you're tripping bad, just quietly. Sorry, that just distracted me. You're not seeing nothing, dude, because I'm not deleting anything. So,
all right, we don't
even
need to spend too much time on that. But yeah,
but that's
anything.
Annoying. I don't like being accused of bullshit, bro.
That's fine. You know what? Who's getting accused of things and a lot of bullshit going on. This heat, this rivalry, family falling apart between Iyo Sky and the Kabuki Warriors, and poor Miss Kairi Sane stuck in the middle of it all. Also in the middle of it all, another homer. This time, you know what? I thought there was going to be a bigger reaction here, but they do love her down there. All the way from the humble beginnings in Riot City Wrestling in Australia to main event WrestleMania's multi-time women champion. She is coming home. Rhea Ripley back in Australia. She's partnering up there with Iyo to take on her family problems, the Kabuki Warriors. Asuka Kairi Sane, 19 minutes, 55 seconds here. And this is one of those matches where we did get some storytelling.
Absolutely, but you know who was the real star in this match, in my opinion? Was Asuka. Man, she was friggin' I mean, those kicks on Iyo was so harsh, bro. I mean, the way she was kicking the shit out of Iyo, I felt so bad for Iyo, man, because
that's what they're trying to tell you. They're kind of presenting that strong style. They've been telling that story, making reference to these two coming up together in Japan. You know that Iyo was the young girl, is what they call him over there. You know, and Asuka, the mentor. Yeah, she's laying it in, and that's one of the stories that they're telling is just how vicious that Asuka is here, and Kairi as well, stuck in the middle of this thing. She takes a lot of shots there. That's how we end this thing. Is a Kairi in the crossfire, takes that big kick, and then that big combo move, that pump handle slam of Rhea's to put her down, and Sane with her big finisher for the 1-2-3 to give the babies the win.
Yeah, and for a moment I was thinking, could Asuka and Kairi actually get the win possibly? You know what I mean? I was thinking that for a moment. They had me fooled for a second, but no, of course it was Iyo and Rhea, and I'm glad that Iyo was the one that actually got the pin and not Rhea. To be fair, it's all about this. That's her story. It's not really Rhea. Rhea's
there as a compliment with it. I thought I did actually. I had it in my notes as well. At first, a little surprised that you don't get that big pop, but that visual was kind of cool. This is Iyo's story. You got
it's not Rhea's.
The pin on Kairi makes sense as that plays into the story. Q Potter saying it wants a monster heel Oscar run. I think that's what we're looking at here.
She's the new Moolah of WWE in 2025.
And it's that manipulator as well.
Right.
Like Moolah. But I thought it was cool, that visual, because you had Rhea, big, tall, there standing over the pin as the babies go over, and we get that big pop for him.
Absolutely, man. It was a great look. I actually enjoyed the match a lot more than I thought I would as well, man. So, no, look, it was good. It started off a little slow, probably, though, compared to, because obviously they had to, top off Cena against AJ, and that's hard to do.
You're going to have that the crowd comes down on it, but
and the crowd were gassed by this point too. At first,
but so you slow it down a little bit, but you know that the attention towards Rhea is going to keep that crowd hot.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And they hit it at the park. I felt, and they did well, man. And good on them. Good on all four of them. I look forward to where they're going next. You know what I mean? So
hey, I think we regularly talk about these shows are tough to watch because how bad the stories are here. And I know they could do some more with this, with some things, but this is probably one of the more positive stories, what they've got going with that.
Dude, she was ever doing it after the fact. She was wishing Rhea a happy birthday because it was also Rhea Ripley's birthday. And the cake,
you and Rhea.
Oh my god, dude. She was acting like but that's what I love about Iyo, though. She's very wholesome, man. She comes across as so legit and just a real nice, girl, like really. Like she's too nice. But you know what? It's cool. It's all good, man.
Creepy. But anyway, the babies go over there again. So we're gonna keep our eyes on the more developing stories there between Iyo and the Kabuki Warriors. But Jimmy, our main event, man, I felt, man, they were really reaching to try to get like a story into this, weren't they? But yeah, it's our two men's champions squaring off to see who is going to take that men's version, the OG version of the Crown Jewel Championship. Of course, we got the leader of the division, Seth Rollins, taking on the undisputed WWE champion, Cody Rhodes, and Paul Hamin with very, not just detailed, but distinct. Do not get involved in this match. We're going to see who is the better champion, the better man, is what Hamin tells Bronson and Braun. We don't see them get involved in this thing. Instead, though, the story that they're telling us is like this deep-rooted, they're trying to like manufacture this deep-rooted rivalry. And then we get the watch that Cody gifted Seth for helping him at WrestleMania 40. I'm going to tell you, man, wristwear in the WWE is a very dangerous thing. I mean, it's just some blood feuds come. We got the Rolex here. We had, remember CM Punk's little bracelet? People get heated over wristwear inside of WWE. It is a hot button issue.
I mean, dude, it's funny. Did you notice legitly Seth clocked Cody right in the mouth area, dude, with the watch. If you saw, he started bleeding straight away.
Travis Scott him.
Travis Scott, he really did. That was no blade job. He literally halfway busted his lip open. It looked pretty bad, to be honest. And he was hiding sort of from the camera to show it for whatever reason. But did you?
This match goes 29-40. How'd you feel about the pacing? I thought, this thing could have been shaved down quite a bit. I mean, there was like some slower things here.
The first half of the match was off. It picked up a lot later, but even then, I still thought it wasn't the greatest match. The spots were pretty out there because, I mean, when was the last time we saw Seth attempt a 450, dude? I don't recall him doing that since he freaking, since before his knee surgeries.
Yeah, like the legit one. But I think, that's kind of to the testament inside of that story that they're telling in the ring that this is the level of competition. You got the two absolute best right now in the WWE, in the world. Who's going to take that Crown Jewel Championship? So they're going to put it all out there. And
I mean, they really did.
It's going to take everything. So that's the story that they're trying to tell. As you said, though, this thing was kind of a roller coaster. The slow, I'm okay with starting slow, but don't just suddenly dip back down, or go back, keep going.
Again, right.
A couple times. The whole Rolex thing seemed a little forced to me. I know they're just looking corny, for something.
It's cheesy, really. I mean,
right. So I did pop for this. The first time that he introduced the Rolex and Wade Barrett got in a good shot, he was like, "Well, good thing you didn't hit that because the referee was staring right at it. Would have been disqualification." That popped me. That Barrett.
He was on the dude. He was killing it. I thought on commentary. I'm talking about Barrett. I found he was hilarious, dude. And by the way, I just wanted to point out, Graves wasn't around because Carmella had another kid.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, just gave birth to
hopefully
another
it was
child.
his.
He went back home to chill with the wife and new child. I can't remember if it was a boy or girl, but they just literally had a kid. And I'm with Gruss on this one. The crossroads from the top rope should have been saved for the finisher. I mean, why that wasn't the finish, I don't understand. And that flying coast to coast headbutt was weird as, but that was different. I've never seen that before, so that was pretty cool.
I did actually have that coast to coast in my notes here to mention that for some, talking points inside of the match. But yeah, a lot here. Just the Crown Jewel Championship. You're trying to tell me about this deep rooted feud between, rivalry between these two, the Rolex. It just really reaching, trying to get us an emotional connection inside of this match. And to me, for it to go 30 minutes, I didn't absolutely need this. This thing could have gone 10 minutes less, and I thought would have been a lot better.
Do you think they went over the time? Like, I feel like they didn't. They pulled an AEW because the show went over 3.5 hours roughly, when it should have been a 3-hour show.
No, they have been extended these a little bit with these PLEs. The last couple have got, where they were doing so good for a while, which is really why I liked Saturday Night's Main Event. Well, when it was on open air, they had that hard out. But now that they are going strictly to Peacock, they'll be able to extend that there. But they have been, for these last couple of PLEs, going over that 3 hour. They were at that 2.5, 3 hour, man. And that was a treat, wasn't it?
That was good, dude. That 2 hour, 2:30, 2:45 max is the...
That's, that local 7, when they're running domestically here and they were starting at 7 and they were out by 9:30, 10. And, we could come and do our post shows. They were very, very nice, but they have been pushing those here a little bit. I also want to talk to you about here because, to me, what really stood out is post match. Now, so we get the shenanigans. So Cody saves a little face, takes the shot with the Rolex. Is why, I suggested maybe that's why he could come over, crossover, and join the babyface team to take on the Vision in a War Games, because he's got, a little unproven business to take care of there with Seth. But Seth cuts that post-match promo, yells at not the beautiful Jackie Redmond, but the other chick, I can't remember her name, but says, I don't want to talk to you. I know what you're going to ask me. And Seth proclaims that this crown jewel moment solidifies him, just not the greatest now, not just of his era, but of all time. I made a note of that. And then the visual of Triple H with Seth Rollins raising his hand. That was
weird too, dude.
All right. I'm going with this one first. All right, first. But that visual to me just stood out because it is so fitting, so perfect that Seth Rollins is really a Triple H guy. Because when you look at their careers, and I think we're going to talk when they're both over and we remember them, they parallel each other so much. Absolutely. The resume is absolutely there. It is an amazing resume. But really, Jimmy, in 10 years, as right now, when we talk about people to put together their top 10 greatest wrestlers of all time, their Mount Rushmores and all that, even though the resume is there, no one mentions Triple H ever. I've never heard anyone put Triple H in their top 10 greatest of all time. They've been booked that way. They've been given a lot, but in the eyes of the fans, that respect is not there. And I think that is the same as with a lot of times with Triple H. He was never the guy. He just happened to work with the guys.
Right, but you need those guys too, though. He was a good heater for those guys. Always has been. You got to give him that too. You know what I'm saying?
I think it just goes into, you can be booked into all these amazing things. Creatively, you can be given all of these amazing things in professional wrestling without that true it factor and a connection like that, or it doesn't resonate. And I don't think Seth Rollins is ever going to be talked about as one of the all-time greats, despite having this amazing resume.
Amazing resume, sure, but no. I mean, I wouldn't even dare say that Triple H is a lot further up than Seth Rollins ever will be.
Funny, but look at their careers. It's the same trajectory. It's like the same pass, and it's just it's funny that Triple H was the one that anointed and has given Seth all of this. because the similarities are scary. And no one's really ever going to think of those guys as all-time greats.
Yeah, look, maybe today's generation might think differently compared to what we're saying, because we don't know that. I mean, there's that possibility. We got to keep that in mind, because we come from a different era when we started watching wrestling, for example, compared to today's generation. But I will say this: he's definitely he'll never be spoken about, in my opinion, especially around our age bracket, as one of the greatest of all time. It's not happening. But the guy's a workhorse. I'll give him that. You know what I mean? The thing that annoyed me, though, with both Cody and Seth, I feel like almost like they're trying to impress Triple H too much, including Cody. Because Cody is another one that was always a little confused, like with Triple H, all the way from back in AEW with, smashing the throne and all that crap. And then both of them using pedigrees, right, is like a little too much for me. You know what I mean?
Then we get the other visual. What'd you think about having both of the crown jewel champions out there? Because he looked like he was startled. Like, what is Stephanie doing here?
I don't think he expected it, even though they do that traditionally. Even I didn't expect it, right? Because it was kind of out of nowhere. You just see,
I get it. They got that cool visual. This was about the crown jewel, these grand champions of champions. You get that cool visual. I also did have in my notes, though, we're looking for something for Stephanie. We need something to care about. We need a connection to really get behind her, to fire it up, especially as champion. I think that visual with her next to Seth could be that next step for her, because you could have big time Bex coming out and be like, "What are you doing? You think you stand in the ring with my husband?
True.
You're not even the top champ on this brand in this company."
Right, exactly. I mean, that'd be cool.
Becky sit there and say, I'm the one that elevates championships. I'm the real star. And then move into a program with Stephanie and Becky.
She's definitely elevated that IC title, man. I'm not going to lie. I mean, she has. You know what I mean? We were saying originally that, women like Becky shouldn't even be holding that championship. But I think in this case, it was
why would you? I mean, she's elevated. I mean,
right now you can absolutely say it was the right move for her to be champion, because she elevated it. But before that, initially, I don't think that was ever their plan. It's just that, what's her name,
Bird Girl,
L woman, Vaquer,
Bird Girl,
Bird Girl, just had such a bad run with it that they needed someone.
Because there was no character, there was nothing to care, there was no connection with it. And I think that Becky could be that person to help elevate Stephanie and her title run here, and just her as a superstar right now.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. But you know what's sad though, Rick? I think you're thinking too logical, and I'm not even sure that they're even thinking,
that was like the first thing in my notes when I saw that was, this is a perfect setup to just easily insert Becky into that, and let's get a program. Yeah. Rumble, title for title or something like that, or make some history. If we can prolong this thing, women's title for title at WrestleMania.
It sounds great. I hope they look, and generally I would always give WWE the benefit of the doubt. Usually what you're saying, they're onto it. Usually they would think logically, but lately, I don't know.
Speaking of get people over, though, what could get Bird Girl over, and you could do it, Jimmy T. You could be responsible for this. Can you do me a master mix of Coco Beware's Bird Man with Bird Girl's entrance? Can we combine those two?
Bird.
Yeah, we'll throw that in there.
And then bird is the word. Like the Bird's greatest hits, right?
Yes.
Jesus Christ. Don't tempt me. I'll do a remix.
Yeah, we'll do it, man.
I'll do Bird is the word with the bird from with Frankie, the bird song with Coco Beware.
There we are. And a little pile driver.
Something stupid. Hey, I'm telling you, I'll do something silly like that. We'll see.
Jimmy, overall,
I might just do that.
Now that we've talked it out here, I know you came in very high, maybe a little just proud that it was in your country, representing there in Perth in Australia. After we've talked it out, how do you feel? Where would you rank WWE Crown Jewel Perth?
I will say that I feel like it was by far the best crown jewel ever produced in WWE history. It beat any of the Saudi ones, even though the Saudi ones had some huge matchups.
They had some big
right?
names. They had some big names on those
They
shows.
did, and there was title changes at some of them and all that shit. But it just never had a soul. Do you know what I mean? It was always soulless. Those shows were just completely soulless. I felt like Perth brought the soul out of like this pay-per-view, if you know what I mean.
Would you feel comfortable if this became your pay-per-view? Because, I mean, the belts are made there. They've got the jewels from there. I mean, would it be enough that this is just where we see champions square off in Australia every year?
It's too, like, it's the Saudis have dirtied it up too much. I feel like I still associate it with Saudi Arabia, man.
Oh, you get that sloppy sand seconds.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. They have to do it more than once for it to start sort of establishing.
Kind of start like getting its own identity. I don't feel
right.
So I have to get over the chat.
Logo, man. At least I know they made it blue this time.
Cold-blooded, going 4 out of 5 face slaps. I mean, that's some high praise there. I was going to say maybe a 3.5.
I'll go a 4 out of 5, but I can see a 4. I enjoyed the show a lot. I really did. I didn't expect to. I was ready to be like, it's going to be shit. It was, look, for me, it was one of the better PLEs in a short while, man. You know what I mean? I think it was better than WrestlePalooza, even though WrestlePalooza, there was a lot more at stake, if you know what I mean, with it. But I just felt like this was a wrestling clinic for the most part in terms of the matches.
Long matches. Some storylines.
That's the problem. And going by social media and all that, a lot of people are totally praising it. And for me, like I said, it was the best crown jewel. The crowd brought it, even for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? And that still cringes me. Keep it classy, Perth, for the last time. Get your shit together, because that was cringe.
What sites is it? Is Sunday morning there? What time you got it? 7
right
7
now? It is
9 a.m.
morning, 9:44 a.m. Sunday morning.
What WWE? They've got Sunday off, I guess. What sites are they going to see there?
They've got Sunday off. That's what I was saying earlier. It's funny. They're probably going to go out swimming and sightseeing.
What's the bingo jungle? They put that over on the show in one of the Australian commercials.
The Bingo Jungle?
Bingo, Bango, I don't know. It was in there, one of the commercials that they ran for Australia, didn't you? Never mind on that. Before we get out of here, though. Before we get out of here, we're close to them. I just going to touch base, ask you some questions here for Bound for Glory. TNA's big event coming up tomorrow night. We're going to have that live watch along. And then let's go, Brandon and the Vet. They're going to be breaking it down for you Monday night. Jimmy, a couple of these that kind of jump out, look kind of cool. Leon Slater, the TNA X Division champion, I think the youngest X Division champion in their company's history. He's going to take it on Javon Evans. If you like athleticism, big spots, big moves, those two are going to get on it. I think that'll be a fun one if that's your thing.
100%. It'll be a spot fest, that's for sure.
But that's what you get with the X Division. You know,
exactly. That's what it is. It is what it is, right? Exactly.
It's spot on the card there. Of course, we got Trick Williams and Mike Santana.
That would be a great match.
Going for the TNA championship. Santana maybe get that full circle, bring it all together, that story to bring the championship back to TNA where it belongs. Obviously, Trick is part of the NXT brand. And one of the big draws there, the Hardys. Speaking of the Hardys, 1 month away, a little over a month away, they're going to be going to upstate New York for the return of 2CW. The Hardys, a big draw up there for Ben and his crew for that big 2CW show. The Hardys, one final table against Team 3D. Those old dogs, Jimmy. Does that excite you? Is that enough to buy that paper?
I don't know, dude. I've seen it a million times already, obviously, as you would have and everyone else in the chat.
Final table, though, bro.
Is TNA the right place to be doing a match like that, though, you think?
Why not? Give them a rub, man. It could be one of those defining moments for them as they're looking to and I'm expecting maybe, I love to see AJ Styles. I know he's, like you pointed out, he's had to bust ass to get back there, but that's what AJ does. Or we get a big announcement for a TNA television deal, hopefully at Bound for Glory.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? they were saying they were close, but I wonder how big this, so-called TV company would be. I mean, if that was to get a deal done, who would you guess that's a possibility for TNA to sign up to?
Well, you got that big rumor, the CW, which I think would be an amazing grab for them.
Keep them on the same nights, obviously, and have NXT as well. That'd be kind of weird and
cool. Well, I guess, the talk and rumor was that Wednesday night would become the TNA block and WWE would help them out going against Dynamite.
So they want to go at it again, maybe, possibly? Well, this time with TNA?
Yeah. So it'd be interesting. We'll see what kind of big announcements, but I'm going to be interested. It's their biggest show of the year. They're on a hot streak. We got everything involved with NXT, so it'd be nice to see the WWE crossover. What do you and Vet talking about tomorrow on the Wreckage AEW conversation?
Yeah, after watching all this stuff and then having to watch AEW, we're gonna be sifting through Wreckage, all right, I'm sure. I haven't watched any of the AEW shows yet. This is when I'm going to do it tonight. But yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about, obviously, all things AEW. We'll be talking about the news. And you know what to expect with the Wreckage. You'll be
talking about Mercedes 10 belts. I thought she won another one.
That cringed me too, bro.
Mercedes 10 belts. It's actually funny because they actually posted the list of the companies, and it's like,
I saw it, and all fucking indie crap, all of freaking companies.
It's almost it's like this list of belts is just devaluing her AEW championship and the good name of Owen Hart, because they list the Owen Hart championship in there as well as part of her championship.
Idiots, man! Just stop it. Stop doing it to yourselves, man. It's that easy, but they continue to do it. And just wait. In AEW, we're getting also women's tag team belts soon.
You know what? I actually have. I know I'm never a big fan of just adding titles and divisions for the sake of it. But a hat tip to Tony, and I mentioned this. Paz and I just yesterday recorded a tag team special episode of the 10 count. I'll have that up either later tonight or in the morning. We just talk all the big debates. Demolition versus Road Warriors, the best version of the Midnight Express. Best active team, best all-time women's team. So we go through, our 10 topics, 10 That's conversations, all tag team theme. So be able to check that. Look for it dropping here on the channel. But I did put over for Tony Khan with the women's tag teams. They're making an effort to actually create teams where they look the part. They have tag team names. They're going to go towards finishers. So at least there's some effort there instead of just people that don't look like they've ever have any association with each other are going out there. But if you're gonna do it, at least try to do it right, I guess, right?
I mean, yeah, absolutely, do it right. But hopefully it is done right. That's the thing. So we'll see what happens there. But the whole Mercedes thing is just, I feel like it's almost a rib, dude, at this point. You know what I mean? 10 belts. So what? You know what I mean? What do they mean? What does all those belts mean? But anyway,
no one's getting over. No one thinks you're cool. You're adding nothing to anything.
Oh, by the way, did you see the Moxley Darby Allin thing before we go?
I didn't. I didn't watch any of it this week.
It was a shoot, brother. The way they tried to friggin' anyway. Basically, Darby jumped, Moxley at the Comic-Con or whatever was going on a couple of days ago. A big con was going on, but anyway,
it's a big con, all right.
Yeah, it's a con job, exactly.
Yeah,
but but it does nothing for me, man. And Brandon is getting over. Whoop whoop. Like I said, watch out for his watch along, which is coming up pretty much soon, right after us.
All right, Jimmy. I was gonna say we'll open up the studio here so Brandon can get in here and do his thing. Watch along tonight is going to have the. Watch along. He's going to be watching along tonight. What we just reviewed, so you can just join him and have a little fun checking out the action from Perth. He's going to have to watch along tomorrow night for Bound for Glory, and then him and Vet on Monday breaking it down. Ben and I Monday in the locker room will be talking the business of the business and some fallout from this weekend's shows. And I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot of 2CW. My friend
that's
Jimmy.
Back too.
Yeah. I'm gonna I'm booking my flight room and tickets this week. I'm gonna head on up there. I know MSG's already got his tickets.
Damn, so man, I wish I could make the flight myself, man, but it's a whole different ball game for me. Unfortunately.
All right. Well, I got word that your wife is ready to blow out your birthday candle there, buddy. So we're going to go ahead and shut it down
right now. That's what I was just sort of eating, funny enough.
Yeah, tasty cakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I guess we'll see him on Raw this coming Monday. But anyway.
Go give her the salami tsunami.
I love that name. That's actually pretty cool. The salami tsunami, or the other way around. You can go either way. But anyway, in saying that, Rick, tell them where they can find you, man.
Right here at the YouTube channel. Share the page, share the content. Give us likes, give us thumbs up, leave us comments. I've got a bunch of uploads absolutely. I've got to get. I'm in the track tomorrow, but tomorrow night I got a ton of shit to upload. So keep your eyes and ears and your willy, everything erect and ready.
Oh, dude, how good was? Have you seen the AI wrestling stuff, by the way? Have you seen MLK, bro?
I'm reserving comments for that. That's like I don't know.
Bro,
I know it's
the MLK
everywhere.
Thing is hectic, bro. I mean, that was so good and so well done. I was shocked. Like, I've lost my dream. You know what I mean? When he says, "I am the dream" or whatever. Like as one of his promos, dude. That's so real. It's scary, man.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I'll check them out.
You got to check it out, dude. Trust me. And
get us out of here, buddy.
Biggie stuff is funny too. There's a lot of shit. George Washington against Abraham Lincoln with Jerry the King Lawler and Michael Cole going crazy in the background is bizarre, bro. And Stephen Hawkins.
That probably was funny. I'll go check that out.
Dude, that is hilarious. I mean, hilarious. But anyway, check that shit out. In saying that, like Rick said before, tune in tomorrow morning for Direct Edge with myself and the Vent, where we talk all things AEW, 11 a.m. Eastern. Of course, I like a Raw on Tuesday morning. Hopefully, Ray will be available this week again. And we'll be talking all things WWE Monday Night Raw, again, live from Perth. And, yeah, that's about it for now, man. So in saying that, it's a wrap. Oh, and thank you, boys, by the way. Thank you, Cold-Blooded, Goose, and everyone in the chat for wishing me a happy birthday. You too, Josh, for doing so on Twitter and Facebook and everywhere. All you guys, much love, appreciate it. And, yeah, that's about it. So until next time, I am Jimmy T. He is my co-host, R to the B to the V. And you've been listening and watching the special Smack Attack edition of Crown Jewel, live right here on Hamin Media Group's YouTube channel, and of course on channelattitude.com after the fact. Till next time, peace.